Bendiciones. Alafia, everybody. This pataki that I'm going to get into is about Ochosi. A lot of people, they don't hear a lot of pataki about Ochosi all the time on the internet. So this will be good to add to, the collective. For those who don't know, a pataki is a story in Yoruba tradition, typically involving the Orishas, and it's teaching us the way that these aspects of nature interact with us and the world around us. All right, patakis have moved around the world because of various events, and so they may change slightly in the region that they're being told, but the core of that pataki is what it is. So, in this pataki, we have Ochosi, you know, and Ochosi is the divine hunter. He has the bow and arrow. He basically, Ochosi don't miss, right? He takes a lot of pride in his abilities as a hunter. And so Ochosi was famous at the time for his ability to hunt elephants for their ivory. All right. Um, for those of y'all who are like, super animal activists, listen, man. This is old ancient African proverb. Relax. Okay. So Ochosi basically was famous at the time for being able to hunt elephants for their ivory, and he would present them to Oduduwa. All right. Uh, because the other Orishas, they wouldn't accept the ivory because it's so sacred. You know what I'm saying? So the other Orishas didn't accept the ivory. It was only for Oduduwa, Odua, and Olorum. So those were the ones who were able to accept the ivory at that time. All right. And so essentially, um, there was a time period where Ochosi was having a lot of issues hunting the elephants. He would shoot at them with the arrow. The arrow would hit, but he wouldn't hit the sweet spots to like subdue the elephant. So the elephants would just be wounded, run away, and shake it off. And so Ochosi became very frustrated to the point where he actually became depressed. You got to realize Ochosi's pride and joy is the fact that he's so good with his arrow. And now his arrow is not hitting the way that it should. So he's like, yo, what is wrong with me, right? And so he goes to Orunmila, as he's depressed and anxious, and he's like, look, I'm having this issue. What is going on that my arrow is not hitting the way that it should? And so Orunmila, he does divination, and he makes ebo for Ochosi. And with that come the directions that Ochosi was to go to this river and go to the other side of that river, get to the other side of the river, and there he will be able to hone his skills, get back to the level that he was at before with his arrows. Okay? And so Ochosi goes down to the river, and when he gets there, he realizes like this is not an easy river to cross. Like this is a raging river. Like this river is not easy to get to the other side. Um, I can't swim across it. You know what I'm saying? How am I going to get to the other side of this river? So Ochosi, he begins racking his brain of how to get there, of how to get the job done, and he can't figure it out. He becomes very anxious. His mind just starts to go, and he essentially gets so upset that he just goes to sleep. Y'all ever been so mad that you just go to sleep? That's where Ochosi was at with it. He's like, I'm done. Like I'm done for the day. You know what I'm saying? So Ochosi takes it down. He takes a nap. and he has this dream. And in his dream, his arrows turn to gold, and they're moving like at the speed of light. Pew, 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 pew. And in the dream, he's happy, but then he wakes up and he realizes reality is that he needs to get to the other side of that riverbank. And if he can't get to that other side, to that other riverbank, you know, he's going to keep missing the elephants, right? And so essentially, um, as he looks down the river, he sees that there's a man sleeping in a boat. Now, that man happened to be Aganju, who usually you see represented in the flow of the volcano. But in this instance, he's on the river. Aganyu is very good at directing people in life. And so Ochosi goes over to Aganyu, sleeping in a boat, and, he kind of wakes him up and lets him know the issue. He's like, look, I got to get to the other side of this river. Can you help me? Right? And so Aganyu is like, you know what? I haven't had any passengers on this ferry in quite a while. I got you. I'll do it. I'll take you to the other side. And so, Ochosi hops in the boat. He gets to the other side of the river. He thanks Aganyu, and he begins to hone his skills on the other side, because the way that side of the river was set up, he was able to really dive deeper into his abilities as a hunter, with that terrain that was over there, and, the type of resources that were available to him there. And so Ochosi was able to hone his skills and become that top hunter again, that was known for being able to hunt elephants to get the tusk from the elephants to give to Oduduwa and Odua and Olorum. And so because he was able to do that, Ochosi continued to enjoy the riches that came with him being able to bring them such a sacred item, to bring them such a sacred thing, such as elephant tusk, ivory, right? And essentially, what this shows us, family, is that, you know, to understand this, you really got to understand the nature of Ochosi. You know, Ochosi is one who, how you say, he's known for teaming up with Ogun and moving with Ogun a lot. But there are times in Ochosi's development where he was solo dolo. He just moved on his own to the beat of his own drum, and he just be in a forest by himself, hunting and getting it in, right? And so what Ochosi had to learn was the importance of asking for help when you need it. The importance of forming alliances with people who have resources that you need. You see, in life, as we are moving in our journeys trying to attain our goals, you have to realize that that whole way is not going to be done by just you. Okay? There's going to be times where you're going to need to ask others for help. You're going to need to ask others for their expertise, and maybe you may need the resources of other people in order to accomplish the goal. And that's perfectly fine. That's the way life is set up. Life is set up in a way for us to be able to lean on the next person to get to where we have to go. That is the nature of the world that we live in. And so Ochosi had to learn a very important lesson. One, he went to Orunmila for guidance, right, which was very good. And then he asked Aganyu to help him get to the other side of the river. Okay? And so he realized a very important lesson, that in me asking for help when I need it and getting the help that I need, I will be able to progress with my life overall. And that is the very important lesson in this story, in this pataki. to really take with you. You know, don't be so stubborn in your ways where you can't ask for help, where you can't link with people and make alliances. You know, there's people that could be much further than they are if they would only link up with people, if they would only tell people what they got going on and figure out how to partner, you know. But some people are just so jealous or so bitter or whatever it is that they got going on that they cannot work with others. And those people typically stay stagnant in the same spot for a long time. And it's not very fun, right? And it's a lonely way to live. So not only do you not get anywhere, but like you also go through that part of it where there's a loneliness to that, you know? And so with that said, family, um, this is this Pataki about Ochosi, how Ochosi was able to regain his skills as the divine hunter and surpass where he was. Because not only did Ochosi gain his skills back, he surpassed where he was previously. So he got better, you know, and he was really able to now bring those, bring that ivory to Oduduwa and Odua and Olorun and keep having his prosperity flourishing. All right, so that's what it is, y'all. I'll catch you on the next one. Odabo.